Okay, it took me a while to film this, for whatever reason, but we've got our Blade King just about done. The only thing that we don't have him finished with is the decals and things like that, which I do actually plan on getting back to. It's just, I had enough of him for the time being. And that sounds bad, and maybe it is. I honestly can't really make up my mind. I feel like I said something similar with the first of the SNAA model kits that we built, which was the Galahad, I believe. They're 1/144th. And you can see here, there is a good difference in the size between the two of them. The 1/144th being a lot closer in scale to like our entry grade RX-78 here. So you can see there's a good bit of size to him. In terms of build quality, everything went together quite nicely. And let's face it, with a name like Blade King, you have a certain expectation that you're going to have a lot of blades. So the blades can be both a bit of a blessing and a curse. First off, we've got this big GN sword saber type thing, like a double O's big blade here. But the problem is it's so massive and heavy that upon lifting him, you can see kind of that the hand just wants to instantly droop down there. So I have it here, and it's just falling down, obviously. So that's going to be something to think about. The other issue is you can see his crazy backpack array, which is actually, like I said, a bit of a blessing and a curse. He's got these ridiculously long swords, and they don't really connect to that backpack shield of his all that well, which is kind of a frustration, but they do to a degree. They also have the variant, and I don't know if this is just like a limited edition, early adopter type thing. They have the red energy blades, which you can replace them with as well. And then there's the whole backpack system. Now, with this backpack on, it really starts to mess with his waist joint big time. So we get this removed here. Take that off and take it out of the equation, and I mean, honestly, the stability and the quality of the build itself are quite nice. You do have a multitude of hands involved, and I popped a piece off of his back as I knock the camera every which direction. I think it goes like this. Doing it on camera doesn't make it any easier. I could just pause things, but I'm not going to. There are lots of little stickers involved there, and in assorted little places. I do enjoy the color separation across the body. Like I said, there are some stickers for those filled in spots there, but overall, the way the parts break down, the way everything goes together is pretty nice. There's some spots where things are a little loose. You can see here that skirt armor. I'm not a big fan of how floppy it is. And it's like that on basically every side and angle. The ankle armor likes to fall apart. I'm probably going to eventually glue it in place because, at least as of right now, it is kind of annoying. See if I can find the correct hand. All I can find are right hands, and I need a left hand. That makes sense. I think this is better than nothing. I think this is his hand, right? Yeah. Okay. So, getting back to his shield backpack thingy. Like I said, without it, pretty stable, pretty sturdy, not a big issue. Now, this thing is kind of crazy and kind of fun in that it's got all of these little manipulators all over it. You can see here that I've got like blades every which direction, and there's tons of actual removable ones. And then if you really wanted to get funky and crazy with them, you could actually use some of these connectors to come up with your own crazy combos of weapons, which I've seen some people do online. So he's got just an absolutely massive amount of weaponry for you to play with, if that's what you're into. And then all of these arm attachments can actually be swapped off. This is the actual backpack unit, I believe. And I want to say that there are some replacement parts there that you can then turn this whole thing into a shield to mount on with a bunch of various attachments as well. So it doesn't actually sit flush on the arm. It's going to have its own little operating hands. Again, the feet are not cooperating with me in terms of posing. It's got that kind of drop down angle, so if you want to get those really wide leg poses, you can. I don't want that though. I feel like this was an issue with the smaller scale stuff as well. Getting things to actually stand on their own. Don't take it the wrong way. There is also a stand included. Now, this stand, unfortunately, and this is 100% on me, there was a small connecting piece that locks everything in place, and somehow or other, I lost it. And I just haven't bothered to insert anything in there. So at the moment, at least, the stand is pretty much useless, because if I put him on there, he tends to just want to fall off. Which obviously, yeah, that's really not what we want to have it do. So that's something that I'm going to play around with. Sadly, there's not a whole lot going on underneath the base. It is quite large and does take up a lot of real estate. I do like when we have bases that have, you know, spots for parts and things like that. I think that's always kind of cool and smarter of the designers. So like I said, there's like these extra connection arms that then can attach in various hard points around the body, mainly on the arm and the back here. It'd be kind of cool if they kind of opened up more of the body to that, like 30-minute mission style, but unfortunately they don't. But, you know, it is what it is. I think just due to the weight of a lot of these parts, it tends to get kind of bogged down, but if you can work around that, I mean, obviously there are tricks and techniques that we can do on the joints, but I'm just building it straight vanilla. I haven't done anything fancy, haven't cleaned it up, and I know that is a problem for some people, but again, this is not any sort of professional channel or anything like that. This is just me as a hobbyist showing off things that are interesting to me, and hopefully you as well. But I mean, in terms of a nice, reasonably priced 1/100th kit, I've certainly built worse, and from major manufacturers as well. Bandai isn't immune to coming up with some sloppy designs that just were overburdened by the parts that they came with. I'm looking at you, full cloth crossbone X1. But, you know, as a basic figure, if you wanted to just mix and match the parts together with the various attachments and manipulators, I think you can come up with some really cool designs. I just would be concerned about the joint strength if you've got it posed with a lot of the big crazy pieces like that. Overall, for the price, I want to say I paid under $50 for it, which I feel is pretty fair, all things considered. It's not like I haven't paid more for some of those master grades that turned into a floppy mess over time. Like Jinx. Ugh. That was a sad one. I really like the Jinx design too. But that's a whole different story for a whole other day. If this looks like something that you're interested in, I would start taking a look around, because unfortunately with a lot of these third-party mechs, and especially with the original designs like this, yeah, there's obviously some Wing Zero and Gundam elements in there, but I feel like that's something that we're going to have a hard time just as fans and as consumers. It's going to be tough to kind of move away from. It's happening very slowly but surely, but honestly, I mean, it's the big money maker in the field, so of course they're going to continue to kind of draw from that pool of inspiration. But in the meantime, at least, we're going to see some neat designs. So if you're okay with the joints, if you want to modify it, I think you're going to be in for a treat. There's a lot of fun stuff, as this giant pile of parts can prove. And all things considered, I mean, I still find myself honestly thinking about picking up the new Martial Emperor or whatever. I think that the series of 1/100th kits are called the Emperor series, but it was like the Martial King or something like that. Anyways, don't be surprised if it shows up on this channel anytime soon, especially if I can get it for a reasonably cheaper price than the current MSRP on that thing. So hopefully we'll see some more of the SNAA models in the near future. And with that said then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye!